Piggybacking off of the video that I made last week, I wanted to take a moment to address another commonly asked question which frequently goes hand in hand with the why British question. And that's, where's your English accent? You know, if you're portraying a Redcoat, shouldn't you have an English accent? Well, there are a number of reasons why I choose not to use an English accent when I'm reenacting. First of all, let me counter that question by asking, what specific type of English accent should I have? Because there's not just one, there's a whole bunch of accents that fall under that sort of umbrella. For instance, you have the London accent, you have the Cornwall accent, you have the Liverpool accent, you have the Yorkshire accent, and that's just to name a few. There are countless others. And the thing is, as an American, I'm not particularly well versed enough in any of them to really be able to differentiate between them. So in attempting to do an English accent, the best that I can manage is this sort of generic sounding accent that is not actually representative of the way that anybody actually talks. And maybe to the passing American spectator on the street it might sound fine, but to anybody who knows English accents, it will immediately sound wrong. So all of that basically just to say, I'm not good with accents. Some people are, some people can pull it off and be perfectly fine. I'm not one of those people. It's just the way it is. The second reason is, if you walk up to me and you ask me where my English accent is, the immediate problem with that is that you are assuming that the person that I am portraying is from England. But that might not necessarily be the case. There's a reason why it's called the British Army and not the English Army, because they recruited all over the British Isles, not just in England. They recruited in Wales, they recruited in Ireland, they recruited in Scotland, they recruited in places that were not even really part of their domain at all. They recruited in Germany, for instance. So for all you know, I could be German. Maybe the next time you're at an event, instead of asking a Redcoat reenactor where his English accent is, you should ask him where his German accent is. Incidentally, I have a video on this very topic already, which you can check out in the link below. But the third and arguably most important reason why I choose not to speak with an English accent is because the English accent, as we understand it today, doesn't really exist in the 18th century. One of the key identifying characteristics of the modern-day English accent is the dropping of the R, or what we refer to as received pronunciation. And that really doesn't start to come about until at least the 1790s. And even then, it doesn't really start to take off wholesale until around the mid-19th century, when it starts being taught in elite boarding schools, and then basically it sort of evolves and becomes the mark of an educated man. And that's when it sort of really comes into its own. So the perception that a lot of Americans have about the modern-day English accent is that the English have always spoken the way that they do now, and then when America gained independence from England, they eventually developed their own accent over time. But really, it's kind of the opposite. They flipped the script on us, and then we, as a newly independent country, did not receive the memo. So in some ways, the modern-day American accent is arguably a lot closer to Old British English than a lot of people might think. So basically, by choosing to speak in my modern-day American accent rather than a manufactured English accent, I am choosing what I personally believe to be the lesser of two evils. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, God save the king.